Hello and welcome to this Crestron Flex for UC Systems overview. My name is Charlie James and I'm the Director for Sales for the Worldwide UC Device Partners. And alongside me today I have...
Graham Walsh, Microsoft MVP in Office Apps and Servers, and I'm the Technical Solutions Director here at Crestron for our Worldwide UC Device Partners.
And today we want to give you an overview of Crestron and also the Flex UC Systems, and maybe a few customer stories as well, and really just give you a great feel for what we offer through this new channel. So firstly, let's talk about who is Crestron. Well, we are a global organization and we have over $1 billion in revenue, and yet we are privately owned and we are based out of New Jersey. But as I say, we are global. We have presence all around the world, covering all the markets. And so this is very important. We deal with and we look after customers from small, medium and large to be able to support globally as well. We are known really as an AV company. We've been in the business for nearly 50 years and we bring the world of IT into the world of automation. But we like to think of ourselves more as a smart company, doing smart buildings and smart meetings, bringing people and places together. And this is very exciting as we bring the world of AV into the world of UC. Now, Graham, just talk to me a little bit about this slide.
So traditionally, many people would build a room, understand its purpose, and then put as much technology in that room as possible and make it complex. But the evolution of unified communications, right away from the early days of Office Communication Server, Link, Skype, and now Teams, it's really so much easier to do collaboration. So one of the great things that Microsoft has done is sort of put a blueprint down of room sizes, and vendors have built appropriate kits for these rooms, and that's what we've done at Crestron. And we class these as small, medium, large, and custom spaces. And then they have the right camera technology, the right audio technology to fill that space for that room. So moving forward, it's much, much easier to deploy and plan rooms moving forward.
And so the great opportunity that we have together is the fact that the big Crestron difference when it comes to our Flex for Teams devices is that we can meet every customer need. Whether it's a small booth, even a home working situation, to a small private collaboration place in the office, right up to the larger, more customized rooms where I'm talking about auditoriums. But each one there is a place for this, and each one there is a Teams meeting room license so we can go and light up. And that is really the big opportunity that we have together. And we do that through this Flex portfolio of UC systems, which are certified for Teams. Now, Graham, just talk us through the portfolio.
So at a high level, we start off in that personal huddle space, home office, hybrid office, solo space, phone booth, whatever you want to call this space. And this is a Microsoft Teams voice phone in one disguise and a video phone in another. And we'll go through this in more details shortly. And then we move into that small conference room, should we say, with a Teams audio phone with the Mercury Mini. But then that evolves into a small meeting room for Microsoft Teams rooms. And that has that 7-inch touchscreen. And then we can also go to that soundbar, which is very popular at the moment, where you have a nice clean environment. And we'll show you some more about that in a minute. And then for those medium and large rooms, we have our traditional Mercury tabletop device that can also have expansion mics. And then, as we said, these custom spaces, these auditoriums, large cafe areas that you want to have Teams enabled, but also have some great Crestron control around it. That's where the custom spaces comes in, where we have Crestron Compute, Crestron Touch Panel, and then it has the native Microsoft Teams room experience, but then a lot of control and automation behind it as well. And then finally, outside the room, the latest addition to the Crestron scheduling family is the Microsoft Teams app. So this is called Teams Panel, and we'll go through more details on that as well and help you find in these rooms in your organization.
Now, the other great thing around the Flex portfolio, the UC portfolio, is that we are able to really enable the customer choice by working across various platforms. Graham, just give us a bit more detail on that.
So what we have, as we saw in the previous slide, we have a soundbar, which, is front of room. Audio comes from the front of room. Many people like that sort of flavor. The human ear looks at people when they're talking. But some people prefer the audio coming from the middle. If you're coming from a very much audio conferencing side of things, you like the audio in the middle of the room. And again, in these medium and large rooms, audio right at the front of the room can be a stretch for some speakers to go there. So having audio in the middle gives you that choice. Or again, you go that full custom room and you use the Crestron ceiling speakers, certified amplifiers, etc., where you can make up that custom room and have the audio wherever you are in the room. And then we move into the usage. So today we have that native Microsoft Teams room, but let's say you were invited to another UC platform that doesn't have, say, guest join access from Microsoft, which is Zoom and WebEx. How do you join that? So with our advanced kits, and we'll show you a little bit more in a minute, we can address that. So we have a standard kit and we have an advanced kit, and that advanced kit brings that bring your own device where you don't need any drivers to install and just get running. And then finally, multiple platforms. So today, all our Microsoft Teams rooms are based on the Windows IoT 10 platform. Moving forward, we'll have a new compute option based on Android. So MTROA is the acronym for there. And that enables you just having choice. So the platform will be near identical. And then you just choose which platform you want to manage as an IT organization.
And so we start to get into the detail now, and we start with the home office and those smaller collaboration spaces. So Graham, let's run through the portfolio, starting with the personal communication devices.
So what we have here on the left is our voice-only device, again, available in two flavors, 8-inch and 10-inch screens, touch screens, and it is native Microsoft Teams voice, and available to order with or without a handset, and it has the option for Bluetooth, so you can connect a Bluetooth headset and pair there, or you've also got an option for a wired headset, so you can plug in a headset and have a wired conversation, or obviously you can order with a handset if you need that private conversation. These follow all the Microsoft Teams features. For example, you want a hot desk, so they are in a shared space. It can be signed in as a common area phone, but then when Charlie comes into the office, he can sign in with his credentials and it brings over his Microsoft licensing to that device. So the device doesn't need actually any licensing. It's the user that's signed in is having that license. And then over on the right-hand side, we have the camera version, and again, available in 8-inch and 10-inch. And this allows for two-way video, allows you for the large gallery mode, together mode, all these great features that you get with Teams, live transcriptions, start recording, all these sort of great things, raise your hand. They're available on voice and video variants, and obviously you've got the full two-way video on that camera version.
And then in terms of it being a true collaboration platform, what you can see here is just the way that the actual displays work. Graham, what are we looking at here?
So normal Microsoft Teams interface, you've got that single click to join. So again, when you rush in the office or you rush to your desk at home and you've got to join the call and your laptop says it's doing updates, no worries. You just hit the touch panel, hit join, and you're straight into your meeting. And whether you're on the voice version only, you still get to see that content being shared in that bottom right-hand picture. So, for example, if we're attending this recording of this webinar, then I could actually pinch to Zoom, see that content in nice clear detail. I can receive the content, no problems. And then obviously in the video version, I can see everyone on video too.
And so then we look further into the Microsoft Focus devices, and just run us through the features, Graham, that we see here.
Indeed. So these devices can be, plugged in, local power or power over Ethernet, and then it can also be on your home Wi-Fi or corporate Wi-Fi for network connectivity, and it can do this Teams to Teams calls. So you won't need anything else to get it up and running. You can use it like your desktop client or your mobile client or cell client, and you can have that Teams to Teams call. However, if you want that telephony features, such as being able to dial someone's cell phone or dial an operator or dial into another conference bridge, that's where you need to provide the telephony side of things on the Microsoft Teams side. So you have a couple of options of a Microsoft calling plan, direct routing, or even the new operator connects now as well. So again, plenty of options on how to get telephony or dial tone to these devices as well.
And then we look at the full lineup, Graham.
So this is it. This is the options for our 8-inch devices, our 10-inch devices, with handset, without handset. And then for outside of North America, we have an international version. That's just a Wi-Fi chipset, slightly different. So if you're outside of North America, then you'd have a -I in the product code as well. The main difference here we see is that the 10-inch camera, that is actually above the screen. That is fixed. It cannot be removed. So it is there. It's a fixed field of view. And again, both versions of the camera versions, the 8-inch and 10-inch, do have a privacy shutter, so you can manually close that shutter off.
So what you're seeing is just on the personal communication lineup, incredible choice, incredible options for the home office and for those smaller spaces. And then Graham, just talk to us a little bit about the displays as well.
So with a new category that Microsoft released or announced, there is a Teams display. And this is the next evolution of, say, a Teams video phone. So that's what we have today. And then shortly later on this year, we will be able to upgrade the -C version, so the camera versions, the 8-inch and the 10-inch, to a Teams display. And this gives it a richer user experience, as you see here on the screen. So you've got access to your chat, access to your OneDrive documents, etc., key missed notifications, etc., just like your Teams client does with your notifications. So more of a companion device, so you can use it every day. You've got it there in front of you to glance at, so when you are working or focusing, you then are able to see quickly what you've got coming up next, or an important chat that's come in. So great companion device wherever you're working.
So great evolution there in terms of the displays. And then we look at the differences in the various kits as well. And so Graham, please explain the difference between the standard and the advanced kits.
So our standard kits are that Microsoft Teams room, supports up to 2 displays. You have the choice of that center of room console for audio, or the soundbar, or even custom spaces. But then when we take it to this advanced mode, we enable it for this bring your own device. So for example, on the MMX30, the BX30 and the CX100, we have a single cable to plug into your laptop. So one USB-C cable will then allow you to do presentation in or out of a call with Teams. It will allow you to present your screen, but then also bring over the peripherals, so the Mercury microphone and speakers and the Hudley IQ camera we provide, and then give you this true BYOD experience with 0 drivers to install. So whether you're on Windows or Mac on your desktop, nothing to install, it just works out of the box. We also then have HDMI and USB. So for those with older laptops, they can plug in those 2 cables and again have that complete BYOD experience, which we have on the MX50 and MX70. The final advantage of this as well is that everything is carried over a single network cable, or category 6 cable. So from that front of room where the computer is mounted to that center of room where the touch controller is, or where the Mercury is in the center of room, it's just one cable. So again, it can route through structured cabling or through your floor channels. You don't have to run multiple cables from the front to the back. It's just one cable, and that carries that audio, video, data presentation across that link.
And then we move into the tabletop-based solutions. And so we've seen incredible choice on the personal communication devices. So Graham, let's start talking about the M series and the tabletop-based solutions.
So this is the what we call the baby of the family, the Mercury Mini. And this is a small 7-inch touch display on there with 4 microphones. And this is available, as we say, with the Teams audio only version. So it can be a conference phone. And it can also be a Microsoft Teams room, as we see on the display here. And as we say, with platform choice, today it's Windows. Moving forward, we'll have the Android operating system as a choice here. But the user interface will change. This is all pushed out by Microsoft and just decided by there. All our small and medium rooms come with a Hudley IQ camera. So this allows for people counting and auto framing. So you can walk in the room, not have to touch anything, and the camera will frame the group of people in that space. We then move on to what we call standard size Mercury, which is for that medium and large room. The standard size tabletop Mercury will cover up to 6 meters. But when we go into a large room, we add an additional microphone pod, and then you can even add a second one if you want to. So great coverage, and the mic pods also have those mute buttons, so you can easily mute the button wherever you're in the room. Also in the standard size Mercury, we have what we call OpenUC. So if you don't want to go down a platform of choice, you can put in OpenUC and then bring your laptop to each meeting, but you can also register the OpenUC Mercury to your calling platform. So whether you have a call manager and a Avaya, a cloud PBX, it can register there as a SIP client. So you can do your telephony, but then also plug in your laptop and use that Hudley IQ camera, etc., for that audio video experience from your laptop.
And then Graham, we move into the front of room solutions. And here we're looking at the B series, the sound bars.
Again, this is very popular where it gives a nice clean look and feel. We have in the Microsoft Teams Room versions, we provide it with our new 1070 series 10-inch touch panel. And again, we're giving you choice here. It can be a table top, which is standard, or you can order a wall mount option too as well. So you can wall mount everything and make it nice and neat. The other thing we also do on the soundbar is actually ship this on its own with that Hudley IQ built in. So if you just want that bring your own device experience, you can just order the soundbar with no compute, no touch panel. So again, walk into the room with your laptop and join that platform of choice. As we move forward as well, we'll have the option for Windows today and then also Android. And what we have here is a nice clean installation, as I like to say. We have the compute mounted behind the display, we have the touch panel mounted on the wall, and then the soundbar mounted just underneath it. And these are flexible spaces. So you're able to move the tables and chairs around and not have to worry about cables. Everything is neatly tied to the wall. No one can take anything away and take that cable home. It's nicely secured. And again, what this customer did here was use an interactive touchscreen. So during their Microsoft Teams meetings, they can use the whiteboard and annotate over the top there as well. So that's just a single cable connection from the screen to the compute of the Microsoft Teams room. So making it very easy to turn it into a collaboration space.
And then we move up into what we call our custom integration solutions, the C series. And this is for the customer that has maybe more requirements around larger rooms, maybe more sophisticated rooms, universities with auditoriums. And so, Graham, tell us a little bit about the custom rooms.
So this is where we keep it quite simple, where it's the touch panel, the same 10 touch panel, the same compute, available in that standard or advanced kit. But then, as you say, in auditoriums, sometimes you may have multiple cameras, you might have multiple screens, repeater screens. So this is where you can use the rest of the Crestron technology to help build up these solutions. And maybe you also have some control for the room. So for the lights, projectors, the blinds, etc. And you might already have a Crestron touch panel. Well, what we do is bring that over, again, into any size Crestron room. That software is pre-installed on all our Crestron Flex for Windows systems. But this is especially important in these custom rooms because you may already have that, and that project can be simply ported onto this touch panel. So it means you just have a single panel in the room. And again, today we have this for Windows. Later on this year, we will have it for the Android option too.
And this is a great example of where we are bringing that world of AV to the world of UC by the way that we can actually make something like a bigger, more complex room Teams enabled. And so this is a great opportunity to talk to customers that have got existing AV investments or have requirements that stretch beyond a simple device plugged in and will make it far more sophisticated. And so again, with the custom rooms, we talked about the integration to the core AV. Graham, just talk to us a little bit more about what we're looking at here.
So this is where you have this complex room, or it could be a simple room. And as we see here on the right-hand side, we're able to go into what we call a page flip. And this is a project that in the bottom right-hand corner of your Microsoft Teams room, for example, you get this page. And this page can be custom designed. We do have some samples here for pan tilt zoom. So very simple, moving the camera, turn that auto framing on or off. That can be done very simply. That can be loaded onto any system or deployed through our cloud service, which we'll talk about. However, if you do have a complex room with the automation for the blinds, the lights, multiple inputs, you might have multiple flip tops along the table. You may want to select different inputs. And that's where the Crestron control processor, which is in addition to the Flex systems, that can then be programmed on here on this touch panel to the customer's requirements. So complete bespoke programming can be done as well through a certified Crestron partner.
And so this is a key differentiator in our Teams room offering, because what we're talking about here is one controller for the Teams room and that same controller for the rest of the room. So that keeps the table nice and tidy, but also it's one less surface to have to actually touch. Excuse me. And so we then move to the outside of the room and the booking panels that Graham mentioned earlier. So Graham, talk to us a little bit about this.
So this is a new Crestron hardware that we launched in November 2020, our 70 series panel. And in conjunction with Microsoft, we have built this new Teams app, or Microsoft have built this Teams app, and it runs on the Crestron hardware. So available in a 7-inch or 10-inch panel and available in a white or black bezel. And then we also have multiple different mount options available. And Microsoft are developing the software. So release 1 gives us this nice wallpaper. There's some default wallpapers we can choose from. It signs into the same Microsoft Teams account that you have in your MTR in the room. And what's key there is it doesn't have to have an MTR in a room. You can license this panel outside the room with a Microsoft Teams license or a meeting room license, but you could have a third-party video codec in there, or maybe no video. You just want to reserve a space, but get this nice, rich Teams experience outside the room. The nice thing here is when I click reserve on the panel, it will instantly create a Teams meeting. So when I walk in the room, I've got a join button on my MTR. Again, doesn't matter which vendor of MTR, you to get that join button, and you can join that instant Microsoft Teams meeting. Coming very soon, in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see there's some applications there. So things like nearby rooms, loading up your floor plan and booking another space that's nearby because this room might be busy. But then having developers write some third-party apps, such as integration to maybe your shuttle bus, the train station, some catering apps, some concierge, again, whatever you can think of. All these apps can be developed on the Teams development platform, but then loaded into the Teams panel. So that's coming on later this year with a lot more features for the Teams panel as well.
And the other important thing to just bear in mind is also this is a Crestron product, but it doesn't mean that you're limited to sell this to a Crestron Teams room. This will work with any Teams room vendor's product. And so it's a natural extension. So there's a great opportunity to go and sell this to a much wider market as well. And as Graham mentioned, we have management for this, and this is where the smart really comes into our proposition. So Graham, talk to us a little bit about the XIO Cloud.
So this is our cloud management portal that is built on the Azure IoT Hub. And I think in the second slide you saw, we were the Microsoft Partner of the Year for IoT. We won an award for building this platform, and it's evolved ever since then. And it manages today most of all the Crestron hardware that is internet connected. We can then manage these Crestron Flex. We can manage the touch panels, the scheduling panels, and it really gives you this extra layer of management. So within, say, a Microsoft Teams room, you have that Teams Admin Center, which is free of charge from Microsoft, which gives you the ability to configure the Microsoft Teams room. With XIO Cloud, it gives you the ability to control the firmware and manage any updates that way as well. So it gives you this extra level of support on top. And again, it's evolving into not just Crestron products. So recently we announced the addition of Samsung displays. So if you, let's say you have a Samsung display in that meeting room with your MTR, you'll be able to fully control it from the cloud. And if it's not a certified device, we now also have a third-party gateway. So again, a virtual machine that may sit in the cloud, such as Azure, that can talk to all your devices on the network and then report them all back to the cloud. And so, for example, within XIO Cloud, this is where we have the people counting. So as I mentioned with our room cameras, we're able to count the number of people. And in XIO, this is where you can set alerts to say, okay, this small room has a limit of 4 people this week or this month with restrictions. You can get alerts if that camera sees 5 people or more, for example. So you can then have that in a dashboard and understand what you want to do with that data, or set alerts up maybe to security or facilities to say, room over capacity, you need to go and remove someone or ask them to join from another room or their desk, etc. So great analytics on here as well. All the analytics are based on Power BI dashboards. So again, you can extract that data with an API, make your own graphs, etc. But also automate things with ServiceNow integration as well. So if you want that complete automation to your help desk, there's many ways to do that.
And there is a free trial as well. So which we can talk about in more detail later. And so again, the management part is great for deployment and again, centralized management. So Graham, just what is the detail here?
This is probably one of the best features that I love about XIO Cloud is the remote control. And whether that is a Crestron touch panel for scheduling, so outside the room, doesn't matter which app is running on there, whether it's a Microsoft Teams room, or as you see here, a UCP8 or P10 device. You've got full remote access to this device. So it allows you to remotely control, and you've also got access to press buttons. So I could press calls, I can press any of the hard keys down the bottom as well. So when you have these out at your people's home offices, you can remotely assist them. So when you ask them, what do I see on the screen, and the person doesn't quite know, you can then log into XIO Cloud, view their screen, and help them and assist them remotely. So you don't even have to run up 6 flights of stairs or travel 300 miles to see what's on the screen. As long as it's connected to the internet, and it's in XIO Cloud, it's registered, then you've got full control over here. And you obviously get the ability to control the firmware as well. For example, on the phones, again, Microsoft do the application, the Teams app. Crestron will do the firmware for the phone, so any improvements or tweaks to it, that would require that firmware update. And this is where XIO comes in and adds an extra layer of management onto your native Microsoft environment, say.
And so then we move on to how we look after and care for our customers and products. So we have a Flex Care, which is also available. And basically, this brings an extra layer of support to our customers and to our products, where you get the extra support to the UC product, access to the technical support specialists. And so this is really designed for a number of reasons. And that is really because of the fact that things have become more mission critical, but you can just see here some of the detail around the Flex Care, things like the 24/7 support. Now, do bear in mind that all our products do come with standard warranty of 3 years, a support warranty of 3 years, which is, free of charge and market leading. But this just adds an extra layer. And the reason why it does is that our customers have been asking us for this. And I think the main reason being is that as the world of AV and UC comes together, it becomes more important because all of a sudden we are supporting an ecosystem. As Graham mentioned, multiple platforms. We're talking about devices, we're talking about teams, we're talking about extra peripherals that might be involved in that ecosystem. The other thing that Graham mentioned is also just about how products evolve. So, you saw the way the displays are going to be evolving. So again, it's very important that that support is packaged in because things are constantly moving, things are constantly changing now. And as we mentioned, it's a multiple technology platform, and especially with the return to work, this is where we do bring that world of AV into the world of collaboration. So this becomes much more mission critical, which is why there's such great value in this extra layer of Flex Care. And again, the important bit is about how you can access this and how our customers access this. And I think that the most important part about this is that the benefits of Flex Care follow the product. And that's the most important piece. So wherever the product lands, we take that care. And so again, with all of this, we have a wealth of customer case studies and customer stories, which you can access and use in your sales engagements to just show the wealth of experience of our products and the benefits that it brings. And here is one particular, but there we have many, many on the website. But really, as we bring this session to a close, I think that what we really want to emphasize is the fact that we have multiple devices with great choice. We've got the way that XIO Cloud supports that and manages that, and the way we have Flex Care. But what it actually brings is this end-to-end experience, from the panels showing you the way to the room and what's going on in the room and being able to book another room if you cannot get in there, to the devices that actually run that room, to the sensors that can actually see or feel when you're in that room and do some other marvelous things there, which I will show you in a minute. And then the way that we can then manage that through the XIO Cloud, as Graham has just explained. But if we were to bring this all together, then this is really simply the essence of what we've just been speaking about. What you see here is a meeting room. You can see that panel by the door. You can see the indicator light showing the presence of the occupancy of the room. And as we go forward, that goes red. The occupancy sensor starts turning on the room and moving the blinds and switching on the lights. And even to the point where you don't have to touch that controller to turn on the room, you can use Microsoft's proximity join as well. So, that is really the essence of what we are talking about and the difference of Crestron in this world of Teams devices. So thank you very much for your time, for myself and Graham, and we look forward to engaging with you in the field.